Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, we're going to take a look at my A cam, which is the ZV-E1. I'm going to show you guys how I have it rigged out and what types of accessories I'm using with it. So by now, everyone's familiar with the ZV-E1. It uses the same sensor as the A7S III, the FX3. It's just an amazing sensor, amazing camera. It's a low light beast. Everyone loves it. Obviously with that dual negative ISO, when you're at the higher ISO, it just kind of resets the gain on it and you get less noise and better picture. So it's an awesome camera, and the ZV-E1 is the cheapest camera you can get with this sensor. So for anyone trying to get into video and some photos, I think the ZV-E1 is perfect. The only things it's missing is the dual card slot fan like the FX3. So for some paid productions, the ZV-E1 is probably not the most safe camera you could do because of the lack of the dual card slots and obviously no fan, so it may shut down if you're shooting in hot environments. But I'm mostly a photographer, so I'm kind of trying and learning videography. So I have a few older cameras. Right now I'm shooting on the FS7. So I have a few other cameras, and the ZV-E1 kind of acts as a behind the scenes camera. I shoot small videos. If I'm shooting a wedding day, I'll use this just to shoot some behind the scenes, and in short bursts, I never have it overheat. So I think it's an awesome camera. So yeah, let's take a look at some things I have mounted to this. And to start with, this is a small rig cage. So the big thing about the ZV-E1, it's a small camera, but it also has a small grip. So if you attach this small rig cage on it, you get a grip that's more like on the A7 IV, A7R, 4 or 5, whatever. It just creates a bigger grip for you to hold it easier. So I think for anybody who isn't scared to make it a little bit bigger, the smaller rig cage is perfect. So a big thing about the small rig cage, with some other cages, if you put it on, you're not able to connect the hot shoe, cold shoe, whatever you're using it as, by obviously the hot shoe that's attached to the camera. So, well, yeah, with some cages, there's just not enough clearance. So the big thing about the small rig cage, you can still use the hot shoe. So as you guys can see, I have an interface attached here and it fits perfectly, no issues, which yeah, that's why I went with the small rig cage. I still want access to the hot shoe because obviously with the newer Sony cameras, you can attach different audio interfaces and stuff like that. So next thing we're going to talk about, so obviously I have this audio interface attached here, but this isn't one of the cold shoes that's on the cage. The smaller cage has a cold shoe right here and a cold shoe right here, and I just wanted the audio interface more in the middle, so I bought this 2-pack of small rig cold shoes, and it works perfectly. It attaches to the mounting points on the cage, so you can attach things to the middle. So yeah, I went with the audio interface over here. Next thing we're going to talk about is the side handle. So if you're using any sort of mirrorless camera as your run and gun type of setup, I think a side handle is very important. This way you can just hold this camera like this and you get very steady footage. So it's very sturdy. Obviously there's a theme. I like small rig accessories and different things. I think small rig makes awesome products. Even the HDMI cable I have plugged in right here is a small rig cable, so I like their stuff. So this just makes it very easy to get steady footage. And obviously the ZV-E1 has awesome stabilization in it. It has 3 levels of stabilization. So along with the side handle, bigger grip, it's just easier to make panning movements and stuff like that. So side handle, I highly recommend for rigging out your mirrorless camera. So next thing we're going to talk about is this OC 4K monitor. So I used to have a Sony monitor, and I seen some videos on this monitor before, and I just really like it, and I think it produces better image than some Sony monitors and stuff like that. So let's turn it on. So here we have the screen. A big thing about it that I really like, if you use the normal arm with it, I have it on a small rig arm over here. But if you use the normal arm and you flip it this way, it automatically flips the image. So if you go into selfie mode, it kind of flips over and it's just very easy. But I mounted it on this small rig magic arm because I think it just has a smaller footprint and it's just kind of smaller package. So that's why I have it on this small rig magic arm. So I think this screen works very good. You get very bright image out of it. You can upload different LUTs and stuff into it too. But obviously the ZV-E1, you can do that with the camera too. So I don't use that function. And yeah, so it's an awesome screen. I really like this package and it just does a great job, you know, allowing you to see a bigger image of whatever you're taping. So this is the 5-inch OC 4K screen. So amazing screen. I highly recommend it. I think it's one of the best screens you can get on a budget. So obviously there's more expensive screens that are higher quality for bigger productions, but I think this screen is just perfect for your mirrorless camera or your, you know, semi-professional needs. So I highly recommend it. So yeah, the last thing we're gonna talk about is this Sony XLR A1M. So obviously there's different XLR modules you can get from Sony now that just plug into the hot shoe. So I went with this one because you can actually get it a lot cheaper than the other ones on eBay. So it still works with the hot shoe. So I have it plugged into here, but it has a cable that comes out. So then I have the actual module mounted to the cage. So you still get a similar, you know, type of package and for a lower price than some of the XLR top handles that Sony makes. So when they directly attach and it's a one piece, I think those are kind of newer, so they're kind of more expensive. So I got this on eBay and it works great, works like the other ones. So you get obviously multiple channels here, inputs, outputs, yeah, the standard audio interfaces that Sony makes for their cameras. So if you connect this, obviously you can connect XLR mics, so you can attach a mic here and then you can have a second mic. So it just makes it easier to have higher quality audio in your, you know, small low camera. So obviously this rigged out, it makes it a little bit bigger, but it's still an awesome camera and, you know, it's still small. So when you add all these things, it doesn't get too huge and you can get awesome footage and everything with it. So the last thing I have attached to this, it's just some top handle I had laying around. It's a 7 ORK. I don't know. I just had it laying around. So I attached it to the audio interface and it's still very sturdy. So I like it. And obviously I have it in the middle. So good weight distribution. And yeah, obviously small rig makes different top handles too, but I just had this laying around, so I used it. So I just wanted to share with you guys how I have the ZV-E1 rigged out, and maybe you guys can get some ideas for your setup. So thanks for checking out this video, and stay tuned for more. If you're not already subscribed, make sure to subscribe. Thanks, guys.